So you should have a good knowledge about a decent knowledge, a working knowledge about cloud and any of the front end technologies, because getting hired as a full stack engineer is relatively easy. That's what I feel, because whenever if you see the job openings, they are either for back end, front end, or the full stack developer. I came here in the UK in 2021. I came here to do my masters in Queen Mary University of London. I did my masters in computer science, and I graduated in 2022. The master's program was for like 1 year, and after that, I got a job over here in London itself, and I got the job. I started my job in October, and I graduated in September itself. So it was fairly quick. Yeah, so that's the basic gist of my UK journey, and since October, I've been working as a full stack engineer here in London. Um, yeah, first of all, one of my major concern was that I am the eldest one in my family. So my major concern was like, if there's a, God forbid, there's an emergency and I have to travel from, let's say, any abroad location to home. So I wanted to be there as quick as possible, and UK happens to be like, it's fairly quick. Direct flight from London to Mumbai takes like what, like 9.5 hours, and few more hours to Pune. I'm from Pune, so that's why it takes like few more. So door to door journey is around 16 hours ish. That's fairly quick, I would say. But compared to Canada or USA, it takes more than 24 hours at times, layovers and all those things. So that was one of the reasons. And second was no other country in Europe, because I wanted to be like, I wanted to be in a English speaking country. I didn't want to learn any new language, because to be honest, I was working as a full stack engineer before coming here as well, and I wouldn't have got any extra time to like set a time apart to learn a new language as well. And I wasn't keen on learning any new language either, because once I had tried to learn Japanese and I couldn't do it quite well. So I thought I might not just waste my time in that and just let English be my preferred language where in the abroad countries. So yeah, and also London happens to be the IT capital of Europe, so that was one of the major reasons of choosing UK and London over on any other countries in Europe. Yeah. So actually, I had started my job applications even before I had landed in the UK. That was before, like, I had it was in the form of internships, and I was also searching for the graduate roles as well, because I didn't want to lose out on any opportunities I had. I wanted to be a bit ahead of the competition. Let's say I was getting into 2021 batch, which was supposed to be graduated in 2022. So I wanted an extra head start, so I had started applying as soon as I got the visas, and I had gotten visa in like end of July or August something. So I had straight away started to apply. Although I wasn't successful initially, but later on I got a few interviews and a few coding tests. So slowly, as soon as the momentum builds up, you get the gist of, okay, this is something where I'm getting rejected, or how it is going on. So you can analyze yourself that, okay, this is the mistake I'm making in the interviews. So yeah, so in that sort, like, let's say when I was working in India, and then again coming to academic life and then transitioning, yeah, there was definitely a change where I was accustomed to a certain schedule of working, and then coming back to academic where I had to like do the assignments and all. That was a difficult task, and in that I would say I was really lacking with my time management skills, because earlier I just had one stuff to do, which was wake up and work, and then yeah, sleep, because the rest of the things such as food and everything was taken care, because I was living with my parents. When I came over here, I had to be very precise with my time management, because I had to look after myself, my food, my daily chores, and then study. And also I was working as a lab demonstrator for one of my professor as in the university itself. So I had to also like sometimes answer the queries to my students. So sometimes I used to help them, and also I had to be in the labs for the students. So whenever the professor had their lab sessions, so I had to be there as well. So during those lab sessions, I had to be prepared for the syllabus of that particular lab session. So I had to study for that as well. So yeah, but coming to the gist of it, I had to get better with my time management skills compared to where I was working, and then when I came here as a student, and then now when I started working as a full time software engineer, life became a bit easier because I don't have to follow various changing patterns in my schedule. My schedule is quite stable. That okay, let's say I go to work from 10 to 6, so that's the time block. That's the block of time which I know is going to be present from Monday to Friday. This is a certain time that I'm going to be working. But once I was a student, it was a bit difficult because few of the classes were in the evening and few of the classes were in the morning, and few lab sessions used to be fluctuating different times. So I had to be very precise with my time management, and then I had to schedule my rest of the task around the particular time. So one thing I got, I had to improve, and I got very good at it, was the time management skills. I think that's really a underrated thing which I don't think many people talk about. But getting productive over here is a very difficult task, especially during the winters when you hardly get any kind of sunlight, and it feels like it's it's also mostly under not under, I don't know, under talk topic is a word or something, but it's a less discussed. That weather also plays a huge role over here. And since you live in Bristol, you might relate to it that okay, you don't feel like it's quite cold as well. You don't feel that energetic enough, and on such days you have to keep motivated to get things done. So in that case, having good time management skills to help. Cultural difference which surprised me in a positive way, I would say that people do actually value your working hours here. Like it's 8 hours a day for which you have to work, um, out of which half an hour is included for your break and all. But people actually, let's say people come at 9 and they actually leave at sharp 5. They are in the office at 9 o'clock, and as soon as it's 5 on the clock, they just pack their things and leave. That was like one of the biggest cultural shock, because when I used to work in India, I used to log in at 10 a.m. in the morning, and probably I would never know when my logout time would be. It might be going after 10, 11, 12 at times during the sprint ends or the product releases. So that was, that was always the case. That was one of the best positive experience, I would say. And apart from that, they do actually value, I never have to explain why do I need a leave. I just have to put it up in the system, and then yeah, the manager is kind enough to approve. The more or um, okay, it's your leaves, you have your set of leaves, it's up on you to utilize them however you want. They don't actually question you. The only thing which they ask, that if you are going away for a longer period of time, let them know in quite advance so that they can manage the task accordingly. But apart from that, they're very kind enough and generous that they respect your family and life apart from the work. What happens here is that you do need some time for yourself. Like you have different things happening in your life. You want to go out with your friends and family, you want to go out there and all. So yeah, you can plan your, it's also, it's nothing like you have to come in at 9 or come in at 10 in the morning sharp. No, they have the flexibility that okay, these are your set of hours that you have to complete, that you have to do the work. And there are some certain core hours of the office that for me it's I think 11 to 3. That are the core hours, so in which you have to be like, either if you're working from home you have to be working, or if you're coming in the office you have to be in the office during 11 to 3. Those are the core hours, and you manage your 8 hours of the day anywhere around those core hours. That's upon you. Nobody asks you any question, nothing. And even if you are after work, I don't remember any of my colleague or my manager or team lead has messaged me and asked me like, okay, hey Onkar, can you just complete this task for me or do this or for me? No, nobody has done that. It never happens here. So coming to my personal work-life balance, I try to go in early morning, let's say around 9:30 in the morning, and get back around 5:30 or max 6. When if I go late, around 10 in the morning. And yeah, I try to wake up early, maybe go to the gym, come back home. I like to cook, so I cook. I live with my flatmates. Yeah, we basically chill with. I in the evening we everyone's done with their working day, so we sit around. We either go for a walk or something, or if it's a Friday, we go out for maybe probably um, just movies or something, or something or the other things are always happening in the city. If there's some, let's say there's a new fest or something going on in Camden, there's something new coming out, we have times for them, or stand-up shows. So yeah, that's basically it. Basically you can do whatever you want after your working hours. Nobody's there to complain. I have my whole time for myself. I like to either just just do mindless scrolling on Instagram or anything. I mean, yeah, that's how basically I manage my time. I start with my first thing. What I do in my office, whenever I go first thing in my office, I check my emails, whatever the emails are. If I'm going to pick up a new task, I go to Jira and select my task, whatever task I have, and then yeah, I start working on it. If I have to, like, let's say if there are any comments on the task, or if I need to have discussion with my teammates, I set up a meeting or just go to their desk and probably ask them about, okay, hey, what's going on. Yeah, so I am working on a product which we haven't released yet, so there are quite a bit of changes happening. Sometimes the dev is being deployed or dev is down, so I have to make a work around it. Okay, the dev build is down, or probably the APIs are down on the cloud, so I have to make sure that I'm running the local APIs. I work as a full stack developer, so I'm responsible for writing front end as well as back end and database, and also the unit test. So currently I'm yeah, writing few unit tests for the APIs which we have written back in time. There's a backlog actually, so we are covering up with the unit test. um, yeah, so towards the end of day, I usually just draft my email saying that, okay, this is the stuff which I have done, and here is something which I need to discuss, or I need to go through with some of my teammate, and that's about it. um, Luckily enough, we just have one scrum call once a week, and that's usually on Monday. So we discuss, okay, these are the tasks which I was doing for the entire week, and if there's a blocker, then we are more we have been given a freedom that you can ask anytime. There's nothing that you can save the blocker task for the scrum meetings itself, but yeah, we can ask them anytime. We just discuss our task and then we move on. That's it. Okay, so I'll answer this in a perspective of a student who is trying to get a job. So I'll definitely say that let's say you should have a good knowledge about a decent knowledge, a working knowledge about cloud and any of the front end technologies, because getting hired as a full stack engineer is relatively easy. That's what I feel, because whenever if you see the job openings, they are either for back end, front end, or the full stack developer, and people do generally prefer a person who knows knowledge about everything. So be at least decent at let's say Angular or React, and then at backend I'll say Node.js, Python. Over here, C Sharp and .NET is also a huge market. So if you have experience with C Sharp, .NET, that's also good. Be good with solving bit of lead code as well, if you can. Easy medium problems, not necessarily like you can crash those, but be at least able to solve those problems. And yeah, you should be well versed with SQL or NoSQL, like be MongoDB or anything. And I would generally say that have a general working knowledge about AWS because that's the industry standard nowadays. So having a certification such as a certified cloud practitioner or something, that would definitely boost your chances as well. So yeah, I would recommend having a certification as well. Start your journey of applying for the jobs as soon as possible. Like today is the best day, I would say, always. And yeah, keep on experimenting with your resume. So you know, like what kind of resumes are good according to the certain job description. Have your cover letters ready. So for write the cover letters differently for each and every applications. Maybe you can have a generic cover letter where you can have position name and all those filled up, and then just control find and replace the position name with whatever the position is there, company name with the company name, so it saves your work basically. I know it's a bit tedious as well at times, but it is what it is. I think I had applied for almost 200 jobs, and then I had gotten like 20 30 interviews, and some I couldn't make it through few of those, and I could make it through few of those. So that was the journey basically. But I would say that keep on applying, take out some time every day, find out the jobs which you are actually looking forward to, cater your resume, put in extra 1 or 2 hours every day, and yeah, that's it basically. You can do it. There's nothing much that you won't be able to get hired. And it also helps basically if you have previous experience. That's what I always say, because few of the students in my batch, they didn't have any prior experience. They directly came after their bachelor's, and hardly, like, if I say five students who came directly out of that, only one person was probably able to get a job. So that's the situation where people do want to hire experienced people, or at least they have good amount of technical knowledge and experience. Yeah, so that's how my journey was for job applications. I mean, yeah, getting used to the weather over here is not that easy, especially when students come here in September intake, because, like, let's say, as a foreign expat who is from India or like a Asian country, they have exposure to good amount of sunlight and a good weather. But the weather over here is like absolutely rubbish, and it does play a huge role on your part, on your daily life, and you don't even realize it unless until you start feeling it, that okay, it's actually demotivating you in some aspects, and you have probably never noticed such kind of weather. That's why it's a bit challenging, of at least for the first winter, and probably you get used to it. But yeah, I also tell everyone that okay, just be careful during the winters. Even the things might be going your way, you won't be feeling that these things are going your way. Just be patient during the winters. Just, yeah, that's one of the biggest things to look out for when you're moving to the UK. To be honest, I wasn't looking for a sponsored job. I was always open to, let me just first have a job, let me show that I have some experience of working in the UK, and then probably on the side by side I could like search for other jobs which are willing to sponsor. So I did interview at few places before as well, but I wasn't able to get through those. But the task of getting through a sponsored job, it's tedious, I would say. It's not that easy. You have to be patient with the applications. You have to like curate the applications with your skill sets and with the job description. You have to be good with the interviews. One thing which I have noticed in the interviews is that they also check your behavior apart from the technical things. They want you to be polite and upfront speaking. They do actually monitor how you speak in the interviews. Um, because I think whatever I've observed over here is that they don't want to hire let's say, a weirdo in the team that would like literally spoil the team. They would rather hire a guy who is outspoken and friendly in the team, has a bit of less technical skill instead of a geek, but he's a weirdo and he might just spoil the whole team. So they don't want it. That's fairly common across most of the jobs I've applied and I've given the interviews. That's the one thing I would really like to focus on the interviews. If anyone asks me what's the one thing they would ask me the thing that you have to look out for. um, and for the sponsored jobs, I mean, sometimes what happens is that they ask if you have any work permit. If they nowadays they are quite familiar with the post study work visa as well, so they ask you if you are willing to join on post study work visa, and after your maybe probation gets over, or after a year of evaluation of your performance, they offer you to move on to the skilled worker visa, or the tier 2 visa, which we call. So yeah, so this has happened with my one of my friend. She works in Cambridge, and she was asked to join on her post study work visa. And yeah, but after some time, like now, it has been almost a year for her as well. Now she's been offered. Yeah, now she has been given actually the option to have a sponsored visa. If you look from a company's point of view, if you want to hire a candidate and then get him on board, and if you have to make like sponsor that candidate, it's a huge amount of investment for the company. And companies what at the situation are trying to do, if they need a candidate, trying to find a candidate who would not require the working permit, or they would not require to sponsor them. Because let's say if you have to pay the IHS for 5 years, it is going to be rough. Like whole the onboarding process is going to cost them as much or more than what the salary is being offered to the employee, that is on the per month basis. So that is an additional cost which the company has to bear for the employee. So as a company, what I would try to do is that, okay, I probably try not to hire a candidate who requires a visa, but a candidate who already has some kind of work permit or is a localite and can join me immediately and get the work done for me. And probably that kind of candidate also, they will also look for a candidate who has some sort of experience on them, and which would like literally lessen their cost of onboarding that company. So hence it's a bit cumbersome for students, or like any expats to get a job right now. But yeah, right now every company is having some kind of budget crunch on them. Yeah, so that really makes it like, let's say X person has an experience of 4 years in the industry, and he's expecting a salary of like XYZ amount of pounds. But the company has a budget of ABC pounds. Obviously, a person who has a 4 years of experience would be expecting that kind of money. But company says no, this is the budget that we have right now. Your skill set to match, then there's a void in between, so you can't fill in the void. So there are some scenarios where either the companies would have to like go to some extent, or the candidate has to like lower his or her expectations. But obviously coming from out of the country, and we obviously come here to make more money. That's the basic gist of it. There's no more money and better work life balance. So say that my interview was pretty good. So whilst after I was more or less got the confirmation that I am selected for that position. But the offer letter was yet to come. I had asked with the HR that, okay, am I going to be sponsored, or do I have to continue with my student visa and then apply for a post study work visa? So they had discussion with my manager, and then they decided to sponsor for me. So that I didn't have to negotiate or something, but I think it also depends on how you are at the interview as well. So I just had to provide with them with my basic details such as passport number and all those details which they had asked for me. Um, I don't think I had to provide them with anything other than passport or whatever they had asked off of me. They had sent me a form. You just had to fill in the form. That was a basic form for them to enter in the visa application process. So entire process was done by my HR itself. They were responsible for paying the visa fees as well as the IHS. Yeah.